What's going on, family? How y'all doing out there today? This is episode 4 of the Pharaohs Podcast. I am your host, Solomon. I am joined today by Mr. What's Good himself,
What's
Israel.
good?
And then it got to be a doctor in the house because we got Luke in the building.
I already know it. Coming to operate, you hear me? Let's do it.
What's the word, y'all? How was y'all weekend?
And Israel, you want to take this one first?
Man, let's see. Got some my light. My
Oh
light
yeah, hold
shining.
on, wait. Before we get into that, right? Israel don't even know because we just started the podcast right now, but I'm about to go in on his ass
Oh my God.
because
This
I
man.
seen some of the stuff he was doing this weekend and I ain't getting no invite.
This weekend. Dude, it was all over. It was all over. I had a lot of stuff going on. What was it? Man, Friday. Well, this weekend, my biker club 14-year anniversary or the weekend that just passed. So Friday was a meet and greet. I'm sure you seen it. It was a open invitation. But
No,
Friday
I
was a
ain't
meet
see
and
it.
greet. And let's say Saturday I had a quinceañera for my Blaxican family. My godson, sister turned 15, and then Hispanic community. When the girl turns 15, that's their entrance to womanhood, and they have a whole event for that. So that was Saturday, and I was supposed to have go to the party for the motorcycle club Saturday night, but that didn't happen because partying with the Hispanics. I don't know.
They had you
No,
in that hostage, huh? You was partying for like six
man,
days.
hostage. You gonna be drinking, you're gonna be partying, you're gonna be dancing, you're gonna be drinking tequila, vodka, some beers, some wine, and dancing to some fast da 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 da
Tacos,
da.
boy, them
Man, the
tacos
music
was
gonna be
hitting the
crazy.
one. I know they was.
Man, they was, but they ain't had tacos here. They had different type of traditional food.
Okay,
But
okay,
they
they went
food be
home.
hidden though. When they
You just
have an
re-
event and
you
they
just
cooking,
reminded me of
you gotta go
Stone
there.
Cold Steve Austin. Where he be like, he's like, I was drinking beer. They was like, what? Tequila, what?
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. They drinking all of that. So yeah, it was good. Friday night, um, it's crazy. It's gonna turn into the whole unity subject. But Friday night, we were supposed to have more of our. There we go. Can you see me?
Yeah.
There we
Boom.
go.
More of our out of town clubs come, but they didn't for whatever reasons. But yeah, we had a lot of other clubs on the set come show love, meet and greet at our spot. And then Saturday, I was a chaperone. So for the party bus, from the party bus in Canton down to Smyrna to La Fiesta Plaza or something, and from there to the event. And the event, they was like black people on black people time, supposed to start at like 7:30, then start till 8:30, just about 9 o'clock. And it went until probably two something, one something, two something in the morning. And yeah, it was a lot going on. Never been to a quinceañera before, but it was amazing. It was different.
That's what's up. What about you, Luke?
Yeah,
Man, it was a great weekend. I always say I'm alive, so that's a good start right there. But
yeah, that's always a good
Facts.
start.
you know,
Good start.
I got a chance to. We went over to the temple Saturday. I mainly spent time with my daughters. Just doing some family stuff, getting some stuff done around the house. But Sunday, my daughters and I, we had went over to True Temple of Solomon over on 71st and Halsted. And it was great. It was an event that we my church was invited to, and we had a good time. It's good, like Israel said, it kind of does go into the topic of today because it was interesting. Um, Unity is always an interesting topic, but overall, everything went well. It's nice up here in Chicago right now. It's beautiful outside. Um, all my nieces and nephews, they all came home with me last night after church, so I had a house full of children. I have at least 8 or 9 children in my house. So, but it was good. I love spending time with family. I love, you know, just that. That's a privilege to me to be able to enjoy them and enjoy the weather. No complaints, Solomon. A great weekend, man.
Well, my weekend was I was at work Saturday.
Getting that money.
I was at work Saturday night. Well, no. Yeah, Saturday night. Sunday was doing a little bit of reading. It was kind of chill because I'm my schedule didn't changed again. So but I did see a little bit of the what was it called? The Coptic explosion.
Yeah, I think so. It's
I
like a
did
music.
see some of that online from Mela.
Shout out to Mel.
Shout out to Mela for putting it together for
That
sure.
and man, Champ, they did a wonderful job.
Oh, Champ too.
Yeah, they did a wonderful job, man.
Okay,
It's
that's
very,
good.
very organized, very, very, very well put together program.
That's what's up. Yeah, well, I caught like a little snippet of that. Um, and that was really it. I had a little chill, little days doing a bunch of like I say trainings and stuff, switching up certain aspects of my 9 to 5. But um, other than that, just work. And then now I'm here again today working. Again working. But this the good type of work that don't even feel like it's work.
Facts.
You
Absolutely.
muted out Israel.
Yeah, they probably yeah.
But
Right. That's what I need to get back to daily. Where it's like you do it daily, it ain't even like work, but hey, it's work. You're getting paid for it.
yeah. All right, y'all. So I wanted to talk about let's get the episode started because I know everybody like what y'all gonna talk about today. Well, I want to talk about a couple of things. Since we're talking about the temple, and since we're talking about everybody coming together, I want to talk about Black unity. And before I get to the actual question, I want y'all to look at something real quick. This was a something that was sent to me from um by Prince Royal Prince Andrew.
Okay.
I see that.
Let's
I
see.
see this coming up.
Yeah,
We're
there it is. Yep, yep.
gonna have to. Oh yeah, this I seen that. He sent me this.
So just by
Yeah,
looking at this chart, it's basically the chart is breaking down like the income by ethnicity in America, and you can see who at the top, and then you can see the African American at the bottom.
that's a big drop. I thought we'd be somewhere near somewhere at least. I don't know.
So my question is just to start off, it's an economic question. We've been 4 episodes in. We really ain't get into the money talk like how we know we will, because Israel, that's gonna be your thing. I'm gonna definitely call on you to go ahead and break
Money,
that
money,
down.
money.
But what do y'all think, or how do y'all feel about the African American ethnicity or population being at the bottom when it comes to income in America?
Israel, you go ahead, man. Take it over.
It's very surprising. Sadly, I could believe it. Um, but it's like I don't know. Maybe that is that the starting income you said, or is that just the average for that race?
I
Where you
believe
go?
it's the average. Hold on, let me go back to it.
'Cause it's like I don't know if that's the average for that race or the average starting out. I could believe it because we get slighted on so many opportunities where it's like we should be fairly paid starting out the gate, but we don't. And was say income by ethnicity. Let's see what the top
The
say.
median
I
household.
was able to zoom in.
So what basically
How
what we
so?
have in our house, like together.
How so? How many? There's so many aspects up in there, so many questions.
Yeah.
But
I mean, it's just the medium. Like, you know how
it's,
medium mode, like it's just the average.
yeah, I think it's sad, but I could believe it because there's so many black people I know where it's like they got the opportunity to make more, but they don't want to make more because of the responsibility that comes with the opportunity. So they stay where they at. And I know some people like that personally where I'm like, what? Well, you ain't take, but then it's like they kind of weigh it out because that higher position either isn't that much higher, not paying that much more, or it's not worth it. But like I said before, we do get slighted and opportunities starting out, and I don't know. It's like I could believe it because when you think about the other races, it's like, what do they do? You see, the Indian people most of the time they either in tech, they own the phones, for English jobs where you still can't understand them. And then it's like, oh, what do white people do? What do the Chinese people do? And it's like, what do the black people do? What's their job occupation or something? What do they usually fall into? And sometimes it's probably the lower categories because maybe it's easier, or we just not trying to do all of that. But it's sad.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think starting out, I could see eventually, like starting out, okay, but as you progress, it's like, all right, you should go by a certain age group where it's like, all right, when I'm in my 20s, I should make this much, 30s this much, 40s that much, and based off your skill level or what you know and your job.
I
What
mean,
you think about that, Luke?
I believe
Uh,
that well, it's sad one because, some of the opportunities that um the African American culture, which is a term that was invented, um man, why is this man name is blanking out my mind right now? Um Jesse Jackson, the Reverend Jesse Jackson. That term was coined during his predominant political run, being one of the faces of the black community. But in that culture, or I want to say in our culture, we have a big issue. We have a huge issue when it comes to our financial status. And that is one of the main reasons why we have a lot of um, health problems, why we don't marry the right people or have the right circumstance when it comes to our family home. Our finances need to be addressed. It should have been addressed. It should have been addressed. We shouldn't even really be having this topic in 2024. So I salute to the Prince Andrew for even sending that to me, and this being a topic today, because this is ridiculous. 51,000 is ridiculous.
Yeah, 51,000. When you look at it, that's what GMs make at, let's say, a Wendy's or McDonald's. So starting off at GM money, I guess to say.
What you think about that, Luke?
Yeah, I mean, this topic is an interesting one. Um, so what I was doing was I was also looking it up, and like you said, it's about what you said about right. I think it said about 53,000. I went and
Yeah.
checked Statista, which is a widely used statistic platform, and it definitely lines up with that. But if you think about the circumstances of the situation, so I'm not too surprised, because if you look at that chart that Royal Prince Andrew sent you, you can see in every ethnicity there's a cultural difference. And when it comes to Black people, we have a very different cultural type of standpoint when it comes to a lot of things. What I mean by that is, you know, ain't nobody living with me after 18. Ain't nobody, finna come and, just be in my house. And once they hit that age, they gotta go. These are some things that we hear a lot of times in our community. And I think it
Mhm.
goes to the construct of the way we approach family, the way we approach the melting pot of our family. So if you look on that chart, you'll see that the Indian American community is one of the highest ones, which is very true. They also are a community that live together. They really live together. I'm not just talking about they live in the same house. They live in the same community. And if they're not able to get property in the same community, they build their community, especially in Atlanta. Atlanta is a high population of independent Indian American communities, to where they usually go and buy a property, they go and build the houses. It turns into four, then it's five, then it's seven, then it's 15 houses. And you would think this is just a regular neighborhood, not understanding that everybody was kind of brought in. So it starts making sense on why the income is high like that for them, and we would be at the bottom because we're the total opposite. There is no planning with communities that we find. We usually try to find somewhere that we personally like, not somewhere that really benefits the whole melting pot of whether what we are. And like you
Why
were
do you
saying,
think we listen? Why do you think we listen to the law when it comes to um children being out at 18? Like why aren't we
it,
putting our
it
children let them stay with us longer?
selfish. I believe we're selfish. We have a lot of selfish tendencies. I'm not one advocating to take care of deadbeats. I'm not one advocating to make excuses for grown people. But at some point, we have to realize that our way don't work. Not in the system of America. It just does not work that way. And it's a lot of pride that we would have to get rid of. Some parents are okay with it, some parents are not. But as a culture, we're not creating situations on a mass scale for for our numbers in America, where we're able to benefit off of one another through our ethnicity, or being black or whatever. We kind of do our own thing. So the only thing that really ever brought most black people together was religion, because we weren't in politics that largely, and we weren't in a lot of the brotherhoods or the sisterhoods at an early stage. Now, of course, there are more now, but from the logistics of when we started actually having control of our life, we were trying to create, and we had the church, which was really where the unity, or the kind of central hood was. And then people would get houses around their church. People would invest in the schools around the church.
Right.
Now, it's not like that anymore as much, unless you're dealing with a large mega church, like a large mega, black church. Usually they're pretty solid with their community. They have a lot of stands with their community, and because the people who are coming to their church are looking for houses around there, and then they children go to school. Oh, you go to Bishop TD Jakes church? Oh, I do too. There becomes relationships. And these other communities don't, they have the same thing. It's just they have been working it for so long. They come from their country, and they just bring the same thing here. They give them a brand new social security number. They do their paperwork. The ones that come over legally, they get their family set up. Now they have now they like a brand new baby at 30 or 40 years old with
Yeah.
knowledge. They finna take that credit, that fresh credit, and they finna build on it. The Chinese people they go and get them a franchise. They create their own jobs, because Chinese people don't like working for people. If you ever notice that, you don't see Chinese people work for other people. They work for themselves. Yeah, they are in debt in some kind of way because they went and got a beauty supply store, but they will create them a job. And then they will hire their cousin, their niece, and their nephew, and they'll hire other people outside, but they still run it before they go work for someone else. This is
So
why I feel like we where we at. That
so
mind.
Israel, what can we do to change that? Like you heard what Luke said about um you heard what Luke said about how they keep hiring their own people, and
Yeah.
and when
Well,
they want
everybody
to
gotta
go ahead.
everybody gotta stop being wanting to be individuals and be a collective, because everybody wanna be independent, which is cool. But it's like at some point you gotta unify. But everybody want they own this, they want they own that, they want they own church instead of, it was a status that I put on Facebook. sorry to cut you off, by the way, but it was like probably a month or so ago where I was like, I remember when we used to have big tribes and instead of small churches.
Mm,
So everybody had big tribes, then the churches were big in numbers, probably 40, 50 per church. Then the history is of the black people, it seems like in church and home is you get mad, you want to get your own. You get out, you get mad, you move out and you go get your own. Or you get mad, go get your own. And I was like, yo, you could stay where you was at or, take a break. But that's like if you look at the history of our churches, Coptic churches out there. Most of them, they got mad for whatever reason, and they went and started their own church. Correct me if I'm wrong. It's a lot of that. I can count at least 5,
you telling the
and
truth.
I'm
No, you
sure
telling the
there's at
truth.
least 12. There's at least 12 of them that's like that. But then that be the same thing when it gets to people's house. They get mad, and then they move out and
Mm-hmm.
get their own
Mm-hmm.
So
instead of talking about it.
you think there's more of an importance of us staying together than it is actually, how you say, getting mad, or like Luke said, being selfish. If we were out of our feelings, because that's what it sound like a lot of people being their feelings. You saying if
Yeah,
people are out of their feelings, then we'll be able to actually gain more together.
absolutely. And then you'd have more churches where they like 50, 50 deep or something like that versus everybody got a church with like 20 members and most of them come from this spot or most of them come from that spot or they come from that spot. But if they came together, then it's like, yo, we got 50 here, we got 50 there, 75 here. They all deep.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with what you're saying, Israel D. But what one thing that I came into realization was, especially after yesterday, is that the chances of that happening are very slim. So then
Because
now what?
everybody want their way.
Right, and that's cool. So but now what? That's usually my next question is now what? If unity can't be done in that way, what way can it be done? I always suggest the economic way because it's one thing to say come join my church. It's another thing to say, let me give you a job. Let me give you a career. Let me give you, when you come over with me, I'm going to make sure you're able to eat. We're going to make sure that you're good. It brings a higher level of value. And it's not recreating the wheel. The wheel is going to always be the same. And no matter where we are on the earth, that round wheel going to get you the way you got to go. It's embracing the opportunity because for most people who don't know, I mean, us as Coptic people, we were given a kind of like a head start on the community building thing as Black people because we had such a common interest that people were working for other people and people were building other people businesses up, but also being able to feed their income. My own grandmother was one like that, to where she was able to work for a profit in her church and still be able to bring in extra income for her personal family. So while this prophet, his business, now he's a business owner, he's taking the big risk, but now he has a certified secretary who he can trust, who he knows, that she's getting paid, he's making money, and everybody, I mean, everybody's happy. So to me, it always felt like the economic way would be the best way to go down the unity route, finding a way to be able to connect with each other in a way to where we're growing economically and we're growing in a way to we can start building things, especially businesses, and or get into businesses that are already created and partner with them as a group of people. And then we'll be able to raise, help with the little bit that we have to raise what that Black medium income is. But I'm not surprised that it's at 53,000. I mean, that's around the average American, family household income. But that's if you're playing it the basic way. I get up, hit my 9 to 5. Maybe you got a spouse with you that's in the house and y'all split the bills or y'all do whatever. That's gonna get you about 53. If you're not increasing the income or increasing your abilities to make money in America, you're gonna be stuck at what the average is, because that's just it's around that about $50,000 a year for the average American. So
That's
So,
one person, right? That's not the whole family.
That's just one person, right? That's one
Okay. Well,
person.
one
well,
person
they were saying like that's the median of it. Let me
of a
see.
family, they need to be. I feel like they left a lot of details out with that. That should have been addressed. Like, oh, this is the median for a family of two, three, four, or
Right.
something. You
Yeah, it
know.
varies. Yeah, it can vary.
Yeah, it can vary. Okay, but I wanna reel it back in just for a second. Because Luke, you said something about maybe financially about when it comes to churches. But before we get to the church part, I want to keep going back to the home because um if we are, let's say, um if we're only making 53,000 a year, and that's just in the house, what really can be done when it comes to the other resources of that house, other than like you paying rent maybe, and maybe that's, I don't even know if that's a low income house. That's probably even lower than that. Or let's just say it comes to the education system of the child. Like what can be done with just that? Like I don't even see a big thing you can do with that.
Yeah, it can't be too much done because it'd be like it goes from 53. Rent could probably be, let's see, at least 12, like 15, 20,000 a year. You know, if you're doing, let's say 1,500, I'm gonna do some math here. That's like 18,000 right there. If you do 1,500 a month out of that 53.
Yeah, and that
Oh,
plays a
so,
part. Like you said, it do play a part into the amount of people. But they did, they probably just did a census of it, so it kind of all begins to average itself out. But I mean, we
yeah,
we
black people, they ain't put everybody who was in the house, so,
yeah,
you know.
but, but like
Like,
I
just
said,
me and your mama, ain't nobody else here, ain't nobody else working. That's all they need to know.
yeah, and I mean, I mean, like I said, it kind of do make sense. Maybe that's something we could do one day if we was to go into, like I say, my neighborhood. The um, the average house is worth a little bit over $500,000, but none of these people work together. But what they do is get high paying positions. So that could also play a big part into it as well, because what you're searching for is what you're going to get. And if, as a community, as Black people, we're not searching for positions, or we're not putting ourselves in positions to be qualified for, positions that start at $80,000 a year, $90,000 a year, it would make sense why we are where we are in that number sense, because we have to position yourself for those type of positions in any company.
Would that reflect our parental skills?
Um, I wouldn't say that will reflect our rentals. Yeah, yeah, it does. I blame everything on the parents. Parents. That's the first teachers. They are the first teachers for anybody else. So.
Why do you think people are not going to, or a lot more of them going to those high position skills? Like, um, like I'm a manager, but like some people aren't managers. Some people are still like regular associates and employees at their jobs. Maybe some people stop at supervisor, but a lot of people don't want to go for higher things. Why do you think that is? Is it just us as a community? We don't think we deserve it. Is that something in
They
our
don't want to have
psychological thing
that
that's
too.
blaming us?
That that be it too. Sometimes they like, oh, they feel like they don't deserve it, or they don't want the responsibility.
Mm, I could agree with that responsibility part, definitely.
Because some jobs, it's like, go ahead, go ahead.
I was gonna say, I can think about when you think about going up in the level, or even what like Solomon said, as he went up, more responsibility came. You got to be willing and wanting to do that. But if the mindset of Black people is, I can't wait to get out of work, I can't wait to Saturday, I can't wait to Sunday, I can't wait to get out of here, I hate this job, I'm tired of being here. Of course, you're never gonna get to a position that's making you 80, 90, or $100,000, because their mindset is that they love their job. Their mindset is that you don't got to pay me hourly, because you can pay me one big check a month, and I'm gonna make sure this place runs. If I gotta be there at 2 o'clock in the morning, if I gotta be there at 2 o'clock in the evening, as long as you pay me this number once a month, that salary number, and depending on if you really big, it's quarterly. You see how they change how they pay you the higher you go, because they don't
Mm-hmm.
want you to mentally be focused on that. They don't want you to focus on money. They want you to focus on the position, and they're giving you an influx for you to enjoy your lifestyle. Versus if I go work at Burger King, they start me out at $19 an hour. Yeah, I'm just trying to get my money. I don't want to hear Susie say talk about she got pickles and she didn't want pickles because I really don't care. I'm just collecting the check. And if that mentality goes like that for a community, they're going to be the people at the end of the train. I watched a movie one time where they had this long train, and the train was set up to where they were supposed to be able to survive an ice age, right? So throughout the whole train, there are multiple compartments. In the front of the train is all the wealthy people. In the middle of the train is where they do all the agriculture, they do the teaching, and they do all that. At the back of the train is the poor, the ones they eat in slop. They're there though. They own the train, so
What
they have.
movie is that?
I forgot that. I'm gonna find it.
Yeah, I
I'm
I
gonna
want to
find
see
seen
it's a
that.
that
great movie,
movie. Hold
man.
on, wait
That
a minute.
sounds
I seen
interesting.
that.
I gotta put them on. I gotta put them on. I'm gonna find it.
I'm gonna look right now. Hold on, I seen that movie
It's a
somewhere.
great movie, man. But that they were really illustrating the wage gap, the not a gap of I'm not gonna let you make money, but it was a mentality that the people on the train had. Once they was able to realize that, dang, I'm worth getting, what they got in the front, but am I willing to make the sacrifice? You know,
Yeah, that's what it is. That's what the
Is it
sacrifice,
is it
man.
Snowpiercer? Is it that movie?
I think so.
Is
It
it the guy
sounds like
Uh,
with is it
that's the
the guy
name of the
with
film.
is it the guy with
Yeah, Snowpiercer.
okay.
Send
Yeah,
me
yeah.
that caption 'cause I want to see it.
Gotcha.
Yeah, that
I want to see
Snowpiercer
that too.
crazy.
What is
It's a great
this?
movie, man. It's a great movie. It's a great movie.
Yeah.
So that's what that chart reminds me of, Snowpiercer, man. Like the front of the train would have been them ones at the top. But if you look at the movie, in the movie, when the guy, I don't want to spoil it, but when
Mm.
he finally was able to make it, he was able to understand why it was set up that way. The train was representing survival because you step off the train, you freeze automatically in the movie. It was so cold outside. The only thing that was keeping, they was like some of the last people to survive, was the heat of that engine. And the conductor was telling them when they finally made it to the front, like, dude, I'm not trying to be harsh to y'all, but you want to cut the head off, you're gonna kill everybody. You're gonna kill everybody. So it does that's society for you. That really is how it worked, man. Um,
That movie was crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy.
It be that, and sometimes it be the worst schedule. Like with me, I could say myself, I could be making more. I just did my how much I make yearly, and then like on the low end before taxes, if I'm just doing my basic, and then after taxes, and like it's still above that 53 in the 60 range after taxes. Before taxes like 70 something, but my thing is like, so like even me, I could be making more, but it's a sacrifice. Like I could be making more with another job, but the job that I was looking at, I don't want that schedule because basically they like, oh, from what it looked like to me, it was gonna be like an extra board where I was gonna be filling in for people who call off, which is cool, but you can't really build off that because every week the schedule changed. So what if
Mhm.
I wanted to go to church? What if I wanted to go to an event? I want to go out of town. You can't base your life off of that.
Right.
It's like
But
I'm running
wow,
around with a chicken with my head cut off, but they paying like 1900 a week. But I'm like, that ain't how I want to live. Like I could take the job, but then it's like the schedule all over the place, and that's not what I want as far as my stability. Because how that go? If I'm in a relationship, then I can't really, I'm in one schedule, she in another schedule, and night and day is yeah. You could find time, but still, that's not the type of work schedule I want. I want it where it's like, all right, I could go in this time, I do this at the third, and I'll be off this time, or I could be off earlier, or but from what they was talking, I'm like, no,
So while we aren't building our own, why are we not creating our own businesses? We understand. I know, especially you, Israel. We understand the power of creating our own business or working our own hands and being and using our own creativity. So why aren't more people doing that? And we gonna answer that question in the second part. We gonna have a commercial break.
It's already time for the commercial
It's
break.
already
That
time
is
for the
crazy.
commercial break. We've been going in. We've been kind of,
We must have started early. It's only 35 minutes in.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we gonna answer that in a commercial break. We'll be right back, family.